Don't move. The words came from behind her, low, controlled, deliberate. Not a shout, not a threat. Worse. Carla's eyes snapped open. Leather beneath her cheek, the hum of the city 40 floors below, the smell of sandalwood and something sterile. She wasn't in the break room. Her boots, mud-caked work boots, resting on polished mahogany, on his desk. She was sitting in the chair. Panic flooded her veins. The armrests, imported, Italian, forbidden. She tried to move, but exhaustion had erased every warning they drilled into her on day one. Never touch the desk, never move anything, never sit in his chair. And now someone was standing behind her. Carla turned slowly, and there he was, Kim Do-han. The man who controlled half of Cleveland's underground without raising his voice. The man who would destroy you for leaving a fingerprint on his window. He stood 3 feet away, tailored suit, white gloves, dark eyes locked on her. But he wasn't yelling, wasn't calling security. He was watching. His hand rested on the chair's backrest. His breathing was measured, controlled, like he was forcing himself not to react. I didn't mean... Don't move. Quieter this time, almost curious. She froze. Everything in this office was symmetrical, perfect. Even the pens were aligned at 90-degree angles, and she had shattered that perfection. She waited for rage, for punishment, for the end. But Kim Do-han just studied her, like she was a puzzle he couldn't solve. Then he pulled out his phone. Carla's stomach dropped. One call and she'd lose everything. Lose the paycheck, lose her brother's chance at recovery. Please! Her hand shot out, desperate, unthinking. She grabbed his wrist. Skin on skin. No glove, no barrier. The room went silent. Kim stopped breathing. Carla felt it, something sharp and electric, like static shock, but warmer. Her palm burned where it touched him. His eyes widened, not in anger, in shock. He should have recoiled. Everyone knew Kim Do-han didn't let people touch him. Ever. But he didn't pull back. He stared at her hand like it was a miracle or a curse. And when his gaze met hers again, something had shifted. Something cold and calculated. "You'll stay," he said quietly. Not a question, a decision. Because this wasn't punishment. This was something worse. But to understand why those 2 words would become Carla Monroe's nightmare, you have to go back to a rust-built town where desperation tasted like factory smoke, back to a younger brother whose medical bills swallowed everything. Back to the moment she promised herself, just a few weeks, just enough to survive. She had no idea what survival would cost.
Welcome back to the channel. Before we begin, I want to know, where in the world are you watching from right now? Are you listening from the United States, the UK, maybe Florida, Ohio, or somewhere I'd never expect? Drop your location in the comments. I love seeing our global community come together for these stories. If you're new here, welcome. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we bring you the most compelling psychological thrillers, dark romances, and emotional journeys every single week. And if you're already part of the family, thank you. You're the reason these stories come to life.
3 weeks earlier, Carla stood in Cleveland General Hospital with bills she couldn't pay. $47,832. That's what it cost when your brother's hand got caught in a hydraulic press. Marcus was 19. He'd taken the factory job after their mom died. Now he had medical debt that would follow him for decades. And Carla had one option left: beg. The billing clerk's answer was simple. "Then you need money, honey, and we don't give that out here." When her phone buzzed with a text from her coworker about overnight cleaning work paying $64 an hour, Carla's fingers moved before her brain caught up. Yes, send it. 2 days later, she sat across from Dina at Summit Cleaning Solutions. Han Group Holdings, Dina said. Owner's some reclusive Korean billionaire, but he's got rules, lots of them. She slid a printed list across the table. The last line was bolded, underlined twice. Do not touch, move, or sit on any furniture in the owner's office. Last girl got fired for moving a stapler 2 inches, Dina warned. But $64 an hour could save Marcus. I'll take it, Carla said. Her first night, security was clear. Mr. Kim's office is at the end of 42. Don't touch anything, and for God's sakes, don't sit in his chair. What happens if I do? The guard didn't blink. You won't work anywhere anymore. Carla pushed her cart down the hallway, hands shaking. Just a few weeks, she told herself, just until the bills are manageable. She didn't know she was already lying to herself, because 3 weeks later, exhaustion would drag her into that forbidden room, and when she woke, Kim Do-han would be standing behind her, deciding her fate. Kim Do-han didn't sleep like other people. 90-minute cycles between 2 and 6 a.m. in a bedroom where every surface was white, every angle 90 degrees. At 5:47 a.m., his alarm vibrated. He counted 10 seconds, let his heart rate stabilize, then began his routine. Shower, 8 minutes, 102 degrees. Shave, 3 passes. Dress, bottom to top. Gloves, white cotton, changed twice daily. By 6:31 a.m., he stood drinking green tea from the same cup he'd used for 6 years. Control was the only thing that kept Kim Do-han alive. His phone buzzed at 7. Jung-ho. Morning briefing ready. Kim didn't respond. Jung-ho knew the expectations. At the office, Kim tossed in his hallway. Something was wrong. The air was disturbed. Someone had been here. He found it on his chair, the faintest compression on the left armrest. Someone had leaned on it. His vision tunneled, but his pulse stayed controlled. That would be losing control. He texted Jung-ho. Who cleaned my office last night? New contractor, Carla Monroe. 24, no record. Kim stared at the name. She'd touched his chair, left a mark, disrupted his space. Most people didn't understand the crawling sensation when something moved, the chest constriction when objects were misplaced, the intrusive thoughts that screamed until he corrected it. It wasn't perfectionism, it was survival. Because the last time Kim had existed in chaos, he'd watched his mother executed in a Seoul alley. He was 12. The blood had sprayed across his shirt. Her screams shattered the night. Something inside him had broken that day. No, restructured. He learned chaos killed, that disorder was violence, that control was survival. For 23 years, nothing moved without his permission. Until Carla Monroe. Kim pulled up security footage. 11:47 p.m. A young woman, dark hair, tired eyes, blue coveralls. She looked ordinary, exhausted. At 2:23 a.m., she entered his office. 22 minutes later, she emerged looking shaken. Kim texted Jung-ho, "Schedule me to work late tonight, midnight. I want to see her work." He wasn't waiting to punish her. He was waiting to see if she'd do it again, because for the first time in 23 years, something in his perfectly ordered world had shifted, and he didn't know if he wanted to fix it or let it happen.
Carla's third week started the same. Midnight, service elevator, cart smelling of lemon and bleach. She was tired, bone-deep tired from 16-hour days. Diner until 10, cleaning until 7, 3 hours sleep, repeat. Marcus's therapy was working, but more sessions meant more bills. By 2 a.m., she'd finished floors 38 through 41. One left, 42. She saved Kim's office for last. By 2:47 a.m., she stood outside his door, swiped her keycard.
The lock clicked. The office felt untouchable. Everything pristine. She started with the windows. The city looked different from up here. Cleaner, quieter. She moved to the desk, dusted around the laptop, pens, jade paperweight, didn't shift them a millimeter. Then the room tilted, her vision blurred. When was the last time she'd eaten? She stumbled, caught herself on the chair. The leather was cool, soft, supportive. Just for a second, she thought, just to catch my breath. She glanced at the door. No cameras inside. Carla lowered herself into the chair. The leather sighed. Her spine relaxed. Her legs stretched out. Just 1 minute, then I'll finish and leave. She closed her eyes. And Carla Monroe fell asleep in the most forbidden chair in Cleveland. Kim Doohan stopped 3 feet inside his office. A person in his chair. Asleep. Boots on his desk. His hand twitched toward his phone. The urge to scream roared through him. But he didn't move. Because something was wrong. Not with the scene, with him. He should be spiraling, but he wasn't. He was watching. Kim stepped closer. She looked younger up close. Dark circles, chapped lips, chemical burns on her hands, worn boots, patched coveralls. She wasn't an intruder. She was exhausted. For 23 years, proximity meant danger. Touch meant contamination. But standing here now, the alarms weren't ringing. He felt calm, curious. Kim texted Jung-ho, "I'm in my office. Do not send security." He sat in the guest chair and waited. When Carla woke, her heart lurched. The chair, the desk, the office. Oh, God! She jerked forward and saw him, sitting across from her, perfectly still, watching. I'm sorry." "Sit down." His voice made her legs stop working. "Do you know what you've done?" "I fell asleep." "You sat in my chair." "I know, I'll leave." "Sit down." Kim stood, walked behind the chair, behind her. "You've broken the most important rule," he said softly. His gloved hand rested on the chair above her head. "And yet, you're still sitting." "I don't understand." Kim walked to the door. "Don't move, I'll be back." And Carla sat alone, trembling, unaware that she'd just become the most dangerous thing in his world, not because she'd broken a rule, but because when he looked at her, the rules didn't matter anymore. Are you still with me? Drop a comment. Team Kim or Team Carla? Should she run, or is there something deeper here? And if you're enjoying this, hit that like button. Now let's see what happens when Carla signs that contract. When Kim returned with Jung-ho, Carla's stomach dropped, but Kim raised his hand. "Leave us." Jung-ho hesitated, then stepped outside. "Sit," Kim said. Carla sank into the guest chair. Kim didn't sit. He stood beside his chair, studying it, studying her presence on it. "How long have you worked here?" 3 weeks. "You were told not to sit in this chair." "Yes, and yet you did." "I wasn't thinking. I was exhausted." "How many hours have you slept in the last 48? 4, maybe 5. "You work 2 jobs. Not a question." "My brother, medical bills." Kim was silent. Then he sat in his chair, the same chair she'd been sleeping in. He pulled off his gloves, both of them, set them on the desk, placed his bare hands on the armrests, right where hers had been. Carla stared. Everyone said he never took them off. "What are you doing?" "Testing a theory." He stood, walked to her, too close. "Stand up." She stood. He pulled out his phone. "I'm calling your supervisor. You damaged custom equipment. You owe Han Group Holdings $128,000. "What?" Option 1, termination. Debt to collections. Blacklisted. Wages garnished. Carla's hands shook. "Please." Option 2, work off the debt.
privately, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, my personal assistant, until I determine the debt is satisfied. That's not legal. Neither is sleeping in your employer's office. He raised his phone. Carla's hand shot out. She grabbed his wrist. Bare skin on bare skin. Electric. A sharp warmth spreading from her palm. Kim went still. His eyes widened. He should have recoiled, but he didn't. He stared at her hand like it was impossible. Let go. But his voice was strained, uncertain. Carla released. I'm sorry. Kim raised his free hand, silencing her. He stared at his wrist, flexed his fingers. That shouldn't have... What? Kim turned away, walked to the window, pressed his palm against the glass. I don't let people touch me, not skin to skin, not ever. Why? Because it feels like contamination since I was 12. He turned back. But just now, it didn't feel wrong. The words hung between them. You'll stay. For how long? Until I say otherwise. And if I refuse? Option 1. He had her. When do I start? Tomorrow, midnight. Jung-ho escorted her out. Back in his office, Kim stared at his wrist. He'd let someone touch him for the first time in 23 years. And he hadn't wanted to scrub it away. He wanted more. This was dangerous. She was dangerous. Not because she'd broken a rule, but because when he touched her, something inside had shifted. The walls he'd built had cracked. He texted Jung-ho, draft the contract, make it airtight. She doesn't leave until I allow it. Because he wasn't sure of anything except control. But control was the one thing Carla just stripped him from, and he was going to take it back, no matter what it cost.
At noon, Carla sat in a conference room. Kim slid a folder across the table. Your contract. Debt obligation, $128,000. $128,000? Custom Italian chair, 16 weeks production, plus decontamination. No chair costs that much. Mine does. You're lying. Kim leaned back. Prove it. She couldn't. No lawyers, no resources, no way to fight. Keep reading. Terms. Private assistant. 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. $25 an hour to debt. Cannot resign until cleared. Over a year of working for him, 12 hours a day. This isn't legal. You're free to seek counsel. I can't afford counsel. Then sign. She thought about Marcus, the bills, the eviction notice, the promise she'd made. Carla signed. You start today. Jung-ho will show you your apartment. Apartment? 37th floor, fully furnished, rent-free. I have my own apartment. You'll vacate it. I live with my brother. He can visit on your day off. Carla stood. You're forcing me to move? I'm offering efficiency. Your current place is 40 minutes away. This arrangement ensures you won't collapse from exhaustion again. He paused. When you do, you'll breach contract. Every option led back to him. This isn't employment, it's imprisonment. Kim stood, walked to her. Too close. This is mercy, structure, stability, a path forward. By controlling every aspect of my life. By ensuring you succeed. I don't have a choice. You always have a choice. Sign or leave and face consequences. At 4 p.m., Carla stood in Kim's office. A task list waited. Dust surfaces, clean glass, vacuum in straight lines, north to south, organize pens by size, adjust chair, 4 inches from desk, centered, water plant, exactly 200 ml. Report completion. Every detail micromanaged. Kim didn't acknowledge her, just typed while she worked like a ghost. When she finished, tomorrow you'll do it again, until the movements become automatic. Why does it have to be this exact? Kim's expression darkened. Because chaos kills, Miss Monroe, and I don't allow chaos in my world. He walked to the window. You'll learn my systems, execute them without question. Or what?
Or you'll discover that control isn't punishment. It's the only thing keeping both of us safe. Something raw beneath the surface. Kim wasn't just controlling her, he was controlling everything because he was terrified of what would happen if he didn't. 3 weeks into the contract, Carlo learned his patterns. He arrived at 8:15, left at 7. Same lunch daily. Green tea, never coffee, gloves except when alone. And he watched her, making sure she followed the rules. On day 22, everything changed. At 11:47 p.m., finishing tasks, Kim's voice stopped her. Wait. He stared at his screen, hands motionless. Sit. Something was different in his voice, strained. Do you know what today is? Thursday? November 7th. Silence stretched. Then he closed his laptop, removed his gloves. His hands were shaking. I was 12, the first time I couldn't breathe in a room that wasn't perfectly ordered. He walked to the window. I grew up in Seoul. My mother worked in a restaurant. This was the most he'd ever said that wasn't an instruction. My mother was beautiful. She had a smile that made people feel safe. He paused. That's why they took her. Carla's chest tightened. Gang war. She wasn't involved, just served food, but the rival gang wanted to send a message. His hand curled into a fist against the glass. I was walking home from school. I saw the crowd, and I saw her. The silence was suffocating. They shot her twice. She died in front of 30 people, and no one did anything. I ran to her, held her. Her blood was everywhere. The noise, screaming, sirens, chaos. He turned to face her, his eyes hollow. I stayed there 20 minutes while the world fell apart around me. I'm so sorry. When they pulled me away, I couldn't stop shaking, couldn't stop seeing the blood. He sat, stared at his hands. They took me to a hospital. I didn't speak for 3 days. When I did, I asked for soap. Washed my hands 37 times that day because I could still feel her blood. The washing didn't stop. The intrusive thoughts didn't stop. Everything felt contaminated, unless it was clean, unless it was ordered, unless I controlled it. That's when it started, the OCD. Because if I could control my environment, maybe I could survive. Maybe I wouldn't die like she did, surrounded by chaos. He looked up. I was placed in foster care. No one understood. When I was 16, I ran, lived on the streets, survived by working for the same kinds of people who'd killed my mother. How did you end up here? I was smart. I understood power. I realized people who controlled money controlled everything. He gestured around. So I built this. I became the person people feared instead of the person who lost everything to fear. You're not fair. You can't use me like some experiment. I know. Then let me go. I can't. Why? Because I'm selfish, and I'd rather keep you trapped than go back to feeling nothing. You're not selfish, you're broken, and you're breaking me to fix yourself. Yes. She stared at him. I should hate you. You should. But I don't. The words escaped before she could stop them. She didn't hate him. She pitied him, understood him. Somewhere in 3 weeks, she'd started to see him as human. That's the problem. You see me, and I see you, and neither of us knows what to do with that. What happens now? Kim returned to his desk, put his gloves back on. The moment over. Now you return tomorrow at noon, and we continue. Pretending this didn't happen? Acknowledging it did, and that it changes nothing. It changes everything. Perhaps. He turned to his laptop, dismissed. At the door, Carla stopped. My mother used to say, broken things can still be beautiful, that cracks let the light in. Kim's fingers paused. Your mother sounds kind. She was. Mine was too. I'm sorry you lost her. Kim didn't respond, but when Carla left, she saw his hands had stopped shaking. His shoulders had relaxed. Admitting the truth to someone who didn't run gave him something he hadn't had in 23 years. Permission to be broken.
After that night, something shifted. The distance remained, but there was something softer. He started asking questions. How is your brother's therapy? Did you sleep well? Do you need anything? Marcus was improving, 75% mobility. She slept fitfully. She needed nothing except freedom. 6 weeks in, Kim appeared at her door. You have tomorrow. Go see your brother. What? Your day off. The contract. I'm amending it, 1 day per week, starting tomorrow. Why? He paused. Because you look tired, and I'm not a complete monster. Sunday, she spent with Marcus, ordered pizza, watched movies, normal things. When she returned, a package waited, a book, the collected poems of Mary Oliver. A note. You mentioned your mother read poetry. I thought you might like this. K. He'd remembered. He'd given her something kind. This was the problem. Kim wasn't just her captor anymore. Next morning, Kim stood by the window. I'm changing your contract terms. What? The debt. I'm reducing it. I had it audited. The actual cost is $42,000, not $128,000. You lied. I inflated the cost, yes, because I wanted time to understand what you are to me. If I gave you a reasonable debt, you'd leave in months. So you're admitting you trapped me? Yes. At current rate, you'll be paid off in 6 months. After that, you're free. 6 months, and then? Then you leave. Forget this place. Forget me. What if I don't want to forget? Kim went still. What? I don't know if I can forget, after everything. You should forget. You should build a life that has nothing to do with me. I've controlled you, manipulated you, used your desperation. That's not love. That's selfishness. I know. Then why are you looking at me like you don't hate me? She couldn't answer, because she didn't, despite everything. She understood him, and understanding was more dangerous than hate. 3 weeks later, Marcus called. The hospital adjusted my bill, said there was an error. An anonymous benefactor covered everything. Kim. He'd paid Marcus's medical bills, without telling her, without asking for anything. The medical debt that started this nightmare, gone, which meant the only thing keeping her here was the debt to Kim, and that would be gone in 3 months. That night, Carla confronted him at 11 p.m. You paid my brother's medical bills. Kim closed his laptop. Yes. Why? Because they were the reason you were desperate, and I didn't want you here because you had no choice. I wanted you to stay because you chose to. That doesn't make sense. I know. You can't control me into choosing you. I know. Then why? Because I'm terrified. His voice cracked. I'm terrified that when your debt is paid, you'll walk out, and I'll go back to being alone in a world where nothing feels safe except control. And I'll have lost the only person who's made me feel human in 23 years. Raw, desperate, honest. Kim? Don't pity me. Just finish your contract, leave, build your life. What if I don't want to leave? You don't mean that. How do you know? Because no one chooses this. No one chooses me. Carla closed the distance. Then let me prove you wrong. She reached out, took his hand. No gloves, skin on skin. The same electric warmth. Kim inhaled sharply. His fingers tightened. You don't have to do this. I know. I'll still release you in 3 months, no matter what. I know. Then why are you still here? Because maybe I'm broken too, and maybe we can be broken together. Kim stared at her. Then slowly he lifted her hand to his chest, pressed it over his heart. She could feel it racing. I'm going to let you go when the time comes. I'm going to tear up the contract and let you walk away, because that's what you deserve. And if I come back? His eyes were wet. Then I'll spend the rest of my life proving I'm worth the choice. 3 months. 3 months until freedom. 3 months to decide if freedom was what she wanted, or if what she wanted was standing right in front of her, holding her like she was the only safe thing in the world. The contract ended on a Tuesday. 87 days of 12-hour shifts. 87 days of change. At noon, Carla arrived at Kim's office. He stood by the window, hands clasped, no gloves. Come in, close the door. He held her contract. Your debt is paid, fully satisfied. I know.
Your final paycheck, severance, reference letter. He walked to his desk, opened the folder, drew a single line through the entire document. Void. As of now, you have no legal obligation to me. No debt, no contract, nothing. He set down the pen. You're free to go. The words felt like loss. Just like that? Just like that. And if I stay? Then you stay by choice, not because I forced you, not because you owed me, because you decided to. What do you want me to do? I want you to leave. The bluntness hit her. Why? Because if you stay now, I'll never know if it's real. I'll never know if you're here because you chose me or because I conditioned you, I trapped you, built a cage. And now I need to know if what we've become is real or just Stockholm Syndrome. So you're pushing me away? I'm giving you space, time, a chance to remember who you were before me. And then? Then, if you still want this, want me, you come back. Not as my employee, not as my debtor, as someone who chose to sit in my chair because she wanted to. I need to know it's real, Carla. I need to know I didn't just break you into loving me. Loving? Neither had said it before. Is that what you think this is? I don't know. That's the problem. Then why does it feel like goodbye? Because it is. For how long? As long as you need. And if I don't come back? His expression shattered. Then I'll know I was right, that I'm not someone worth choosing when there's no debt forcing you to stay. Maybe she was conditioned. Maybe 3 months wasn't enough to know the difference. Okay, she whispered. Kim's shoulders sagged. Jung-ho will help you move. The apartment is yours for another month. I'll be gone before then. He nodded. Your belongings are in storage. Everything's accounted for. Control until the end. Carla. He'd never called her by her first name. She looked back. I'm sorry for all of it. For trapping you, for using you, for being so broken I didn't know how to just ask you to stay. I'm not sorry it happened. I'm not sorry I sat in your chair, because if none of that happened, I never would have met you. And despite everything, I think I needed to meet you. Why? Because you're not the only one who's broken, and maybe we helped each other remember what it feels like to be human. She left. Carla moved back with Marcus, got her old job back. Days passed, then weeks. It felt small, safe, normal, and utterly wrong. Every night she dreamed about glass towers and leather chairs and a man who touched the world with gloves but touched her without them. Marcus noticed. You okay? Yeah, fine. You seem distant. She didn't answer, because how could she explain? 3 weeks later, Jung-ho called. Mr. Kim asked me to pass a message. If you need anything, employment, references, assistance, contact me. That's it? That's it. How is he? Silence. Then quietly, he's not well. He's spiraling. 18-hour days. Not sleeping, not eating, retreating. In 5 years, I've never seen him let anyone close. Then you came, and for 3 months, he was different. Better. Now he's worse because he knows what he's missing. Carla lasted 2 more days. Friday night, 11:47 p.m., she stood outside Han Group Holdings. She called Jung-ho. I'm downstairs. Let me up. Are you sure? Yes. The elevator opened. She hit 42. The hallway was dark, but light came from Kim's office. She walked towards it. Kim sat at his desk, thinner, exhausted, shadows under his eyes. Jung-ho, I told you. It's not Jung-ho. Kim's head snapped up. Carla. Hi. What are you doing here? I don't know. I've been asking myself that. You should be home, living your life. I tried, went back to the diner, moved back with Marcus, did everything I was supposed to, and I still don't know. I know I miss you. I know nothing feels right without you. I know when Jung-ho said you were spiraling, it felt like someone punched a hole through my chest. She took a breath. So maybe it's not real. Maybe it's conditioning. Maybe I'm broken the same way you are, but I'd rather be broken with you than whole without you. Kim stared at her. You don't mean that. Yes, I do. Carla, I'm choosing this. I'm choosing you. Not because you forced me, not because I have to, because I want to. His hands trembled. What if you hurt me again? Then I'll tell you, and you'll fix it, and we'll figure it out. Just like that? Just like that. Kim's hands cupped her face. I don't know how to do this. Neither do I. Then we'll learn together. And finally, Kim Do-han did the one thing he'd been too terrified to do. He kissed her. Soft, tentative, gentle, like she was something precious, something safe. When they broke apart, both trembling, Carla smiled. See, you didn't die. Kim laughed. Actually laughed. No, I didn't.
1 year later, Kim's office looked different. Still pristine, still ordered, but there were small changes. A coffee mug on the desk, slightly off-center, a photograph, Carla and Kim at Lake Erie, both smiling, a small succulent by the window, thriving, and the chair. Kim sat in it, working through emails. The door opened. Carla walked in with 2 coffees. You forgot lunch again. I was busy. You're always busy. She set 1 coffee on his desk, not perfectly aligned, and Kim didn't fix it. He just smiled. Thank you. Jen-ho said you have a meeting at 3. I do. And dinner at 7? Correct. And no working past midnight like last night. Kim raised an eyebrow. Are you managing my schedule now? Someone has to. He stood, wrapped his arms around her waist. I'm not complaining. Carla smiled, kissed him softly. Then she turned and sat in his chair. Kim watched. His hands flexed slightly. His breathing changed, just for a second. But he didn't panic, didn't spiral. Just watched the woman he loved sit in the chair that had once been sacred, and realized maybe it still was, just for different reasons now. You're getting better at this, Carla said. I have a good teacher. Flattery will get you everywhere. Kim leaned down, kissed the top of her head. I love you, he said quietly. The words still felt foreign, still terrified him, but they were true. I love you too, Carla whispered. And sitting there, in the chair where everything started, in the office where control had once been everything, in the arms of a man who'd learned that letting go was braver than holding on, Carla realized something. She'd never been trapped. She'd been found by a broken man who'd needed her just as much as she'd needed him, by a love that started with control but transformed into choice, by a chair that had been forbidden until it became home. Some chairs are meant to be empty. Some are meant to hold the weight of the world. And some, just some, are meant to hold 2 broken people who finally learned how to be whole.